Hi, my name is Dan, and this is my channel Engelgeist. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the February 2020 Tarotscopes for the month of February for all of the air signs, starting with Gemini, then we're going to go into Libra, and then Aquarius. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising in any of these three signs, or heavy planetary placement in any of these three signs, you may want to watch this video. It might give you a little bit of insight into what might happen for you during the month of February. Um, just a little aside, if take what you want out of these readings and leave the rest, so to speak. This is a collective reading for a lot of different people, so things may ring true for you, things may not. Please feel free to leave me a comment or a suggestion in the comments section once the video is uploaded to YouTube. Um, if it did resonate, or if it didn't, let me know that too. But let's get started. For those of you that are new, welcome. Ways that you can support the channel. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube so that you get notified every time I go live. I do not have a chat window up right now, so any of you that are watching from Facebook that might be trying to say hello to me right now, I can't see your comments because I want to stay focused on the reading. I have already shuffled the deck to sort of keep this video short or shorter, because when I do all three signs, they tend to be about an hour long. So I pre-shuffled the deck for the sign of Gemini, so we're going to get right into it right now, okay? And you can also, I think I said follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. Now this center card here is what I call the U card. This is going to be sort of where you guys are generating from, or where you're operating from most of the month of February as an overall whole, right? As far as the sign of Gemini. So let's see what we've got here. Oh, this card came up last night in the How I Can Help You Hour. I like this card a lot. This is the Seven of Pentacles, right? This is all about hard work. It feels to me like the Geminis in the month of February are going to be focused on everything that they do now is sort of serving a purpose for later. And being really aware of that. When I look at this card, I'm going to just slide this over a little bit so it's out of the way. When I look at this card, this is really about, there's a serenity I feel with this card. There's a strength with this shovel that's like planted firmly into the ground. It means that hard work is about to take place, or we know that our hard work and our effort, whatever we're doing, if we do it with sort of a sound mind and from a centered space of like sort of a measured optimism is what I'm feeling with this card. Like that's the word that's coming through my head. There's a measured optimism and hard work ethic, or not necessarily hard work, but I just feel like there's a good work ethic that's going on here in the month of February, that we know that if we put the right sort of energy into it, we kind of are able to grow it in a way that reaps us the rewards that we want, right? So when I look at this, this feels not only balanced, centered, and grounded, but it also feels optimistic. This energy feels optimistic, productive, and there's opportunities here for growth and expansion for my Geminis. Okay, if you have like a Gemini moon, if you have a Gemini rising, or if your Virgo's in Gemini, not your Virgo, sorry, if your Virgo's in Gemini, if your Venus is in Gemini, this could be a really good month for you to possibly build on a relationship or create a relationship for yourself. But whatever is going into it, we're putting it in a very solid sort of way. That's what I feel like with this shovel. It feels very centered, grounded, and peaceful, and it feels very just beautifully centered. I really like this card, and I love that this is the kickoff for the February Tarotscopes. This is the first card of all of the signs. I decided to start with the air signs because February is the beginning of February is the tail month of Aquarius. So I thought, since Aquarius will be ending out in February and Pisces will be beginning, we'll start with the air signs this go round. So really beautiful center to be at, like very practical and how do I want to say this? Optimistic. I definitely get those sort of feelings from this. There's a nice balance of optimism and practicality here that really bring about sort of the opportunity for growth and expansion. So keep that in mind in the month of February for you guys. Now, this next card down below here is what I call the foundation. This card tells me a little bit about sort of maybe what you guys have been going through, or what has recently transpired that has sort of led everything to be the way that it is in the month of February for the Geminis. So this card is the Magician. Nice. So this card's always about creativity too, but I feel like this is about us maybe possibly kind of feeling our own self-worth, understanding our own self-worth. I love that this feather, I've never seen this card in this deck, so it's kind of an interesting depiction of the Magician, but I love that this feather is right here. It makes me feel very light, very airy. So I feel like there is this awareness, and also this eye is making me feel that like a little bit like we're seeing our true selves and the true capability that we have with the magician. The magician is always about sort of that powerful creativity and really kind of putting our to me, the vibe that I'm getting from this card, especially coupled with this Seven of Pentacles, is it feels like somewhere in the last few months we've maybe stumbled upon the realization that we're actually maybe either worth more or we're capable of more. We've actually seen ourselves do it, if that makes sense, hence the eye. There's a lightness in our step, possibly. If there's some Geminis that have been struggling, to me this feels like the struggle is coming to an end if you still feel as though you're in that struggle. But if you've just come out of a struggle, this is sort of the energy of that magician, is that there's this sort of lightness and this capability that we've kind of stepped into or become aware of, and that capability is what's sort of opening the door for us to have this as our center, this Seven of Pentacles, where we understand how strong we are. We've been through a lot in the past, we've come out okay, and sort of I hear that phrase, like, light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as we come out as light as a feather. So keep that in mind as you go forward in the month of February. Keep in mind your own self-worth and the creativity and the capability that you have. The magician always possesses all four elements of the tarot: the earth, air, fire, and water. So, and there's a certain amount of mastery over that. And to me, I feel like there is this, this being the foundation card, it says that there is this level of mastery that we maybe have experienced in the recent. This could be in the recent months. This could be in the last few weeks. This could even be like, in the last few days going into February, but we feel like we've kind of come to an awareness, a better awareness of ourselves and our capabilities, and that's setting us up for this nice, measured, sort of productive energy for February of 2020 in this Seven of Pentacles. Now, this card above you is the Soul or Spirit card. This card tells me a little bit about what your soul or spirit is looking towards, what it wants. So I'm going to bring it down here just so we can look at it. Wow. The Two of Pentacles. So this is, to me, feels all about balance. And when in traditional tarot, I mean, this is a traditional tarot deck, don't get me wrong, but the magician usually always has the infinity symbol like this above his head in like the Rider-Waite deck and things like that. And this brings me to that sort of alignment feeling of the magician, that sort of infinity symbol that we normally would see over the magician's head. And also, the Magician being the number one card in this deck, to me, is beautiful in the sense the Fool is 0, the Magician is always the first card of the major arcana. To me, there's a singularity of purpose that's happening here in that number one. There's a focus on ourselves that really is the foundation that's led us up to this point where now we're starting to build some really beautiful stuff in the month of February. We're starting to put those ideas into action, actual physical action or mental action to create that sort of abundance and wealth. And we may not have it right away, but we know that the steps that we're taking, we're getting ourselves there. Now, this being in the soul space, I love that there's this infinity symbol which ties into this Magician card for me, but it also ties in because we've got the Seven of Pentacles as our center, and this is our sort of our soul spirit card, right? This Two of Pentacles. It speaks to me about the balancing of our sort of our material wealth. And material wealth, like you guys hear me say this every month, material wealth can be a multitude of things. Anything that has to do with the material plane. It can be romance, it can be familial relationships, it can be work-related relationships, it can be the building of actual, monetary wealth or financial stability. But whatever it is that each and every Gemini will be working on or aspiring to, right? Because our center is about our aspirations and working hard towards them. We are, our spirit here is all about, okay, bitch, let's bring it into balance. Let's really center it, bring ourselves into a direct relationship to it, and let's really own it from a deeply centered spirit space, right? I love that this is also the spirit card, yet it's the earth element, right? So to me, this is about spirit making your earthly kind of desires come into balance, come into to be able to sort of ground them in. I almost feel like this is like a deepening of our relationship and our awareness of what we want and how we want it, and then the opportunity to learn how to go about getting it through dedicated, focused, measured sort of attention and skill, right? And so we really have this pushing us, and with this foundation card of the Magician, it really speaks to the fact that we're sort of in our belief of self this month. So utilize that. I also love that we have this beautiful green ribbon, which always represents sort of healing, but the green also could represent money to me, or financial sort of um, uh, balancing in a way, because this eight makes me feel like it's sort of, balancing our relationship to ourself, to our wealth, to what we deserve. All of this is up for major improvement and major sort of settling in the month of February. If we feel as though, and I mean settling like settling in and becoming more of what we need versus settling for something that we didn't want. If we find that we've been settling up until this point, and I mean in that sense, I mean settling for something maybe that we didn't want or wasn't really working for us, that's coming to an end, especially with this Magician card as our foundation. Somewhere along the way, I feel like my Geminis have realized, like, oh shit, I deserve more than this, and I'm going to honor myself as such. And now your spirit is backing you up by saying, okay, let's get this. Let's deepen this relationship, get serious, and bring it home. So, this is a really beautiful reading. I like this. I'm excited for my Geminis for February. Oh, also, I wanted to say that green ribbon, aside from it being healing and about money, the green also sort of makes me feel a little bit like, to me, February and March, because of the shamrock of March and all of that, green seems to be a very, uh, uh, like, I associate green with those 2 months, sort of, in a weird way. And so I feel like this green ribbon is also very in tune with the month of February, if that makes any sense to you guys at all. But that's kind of being called to my attention too. So there's a definite synchronicity with this being in the spirit space, okay? These next two cards are the outside influences. These can be people, events, sometimes things more vague like energies or belief systems that may be either helping us or hindering us in the month of February. So they're just things to keep on the lookout for or be aware of as we move through February. So one is the devil. Wow. Okay. Interesting. I've not seen this card in this deck. I like how the devil is represented in this card. It sort of takes you back to the Garden of Eden, where we have the apple and the serpent and all of that, Adam and Eve, if you know that story. To me, the devil is not necessarily a bad card. The devil's like a lesson in a way. A devil can be a hard lesson, though, for some of us. This being an outside influence says to me that there might be opportunities where, or not opportunities, but I should say situations or people, beliefs that we might be dealing with that are holding us back, that might come up during the month of February. But the thing is that, let me move this over just a little bit. I'll show you my logic in this. There's a lot of green through this. First, we have this beautiful green plant growing up the steadiness of this shovel, the hard work that we put in with this shovel, right? And the beauty of that and the pentacles that come forth from that. But this snake also green yet again, and we have the green of the leaves and the green of this ribbon. To me, there's a healing that's taking place. There's also the opportunity for not financial gain, which I said. But when I look at this snake here, it makes me feel like there might be either people that say, oh, you can't achieve that. There might be situations that almost dictate to us that, oh no, you can't have that, or here, do this, or don't work so hard, or that's not going to happen that way. It's sort of like naysayer energy, or this could be the beliefs that we were raised with, that like we, maybe can't achieve what we want. But I really think that the stability that I see here in this shovel, and also the strength of the magician being in our foundation, has the power to defeat these outside influences that might tell us otherwise, right? That might tell us, oh no, you can't make that happen. Here, just relax, don't worry, you can deal with that later. The devil as a card generally deals with excess and hard lessons, right? So that's sort of the apple here. Like this could be representative of, say drugs or alcohol or indulgence of some sorts, right? Like Adam and Eve weren't supposed to partake in that apple. It's a temptation, right? The devil always sort of presents this temptation. So to me, this feels like this would be the temptation of outside opinions or voices maybe, or situations telling you, oh no, you can't really get that done. That's not really going to work for you. That hard work and that dedication, if you put that in now, you're probably not going to see the results that you think you're going to get. Bullshit. You've got the magician here, Geminis. I'm just going to call them bullshit. Don't listen to those damn devils, girl. Get with your magician energy. Get with this beautiful balancing, this strong Two of Pentacles energy of like, no, we are going to bring this in. We are going to make this happen. Because these three cards here, to me, feel so strong and centered that it's almost like the devil has to come out to kind of challenge us, right? We need a big card, a major arcana card that's really going to like produce in us the opportunity to see how strong and capable we actually are this month of February, right? So the magician is definitely at equal, how do I want to say, equal power or equal. He's a good adversary for devil-like situations, right? So if there's situations where we feel slothy or we're, maybe it's our own beliefs in our own mind. That could also be this devil card. Maybe we were raised with beliefs that like, oh, you can't have the things you want even through hard work. Maybe that's a belief that you have that you need to shake yourself free of in the month of February. But the opportunity is there, and the devil's there to sort of present it to you, to challenge you with it. So be aware of that. If something comes up during the month of February, your focus is in the Seven of Pentacles, right? In this balanced sort of energy. Stay with this energy and work your way through these thoughts or the thoughts of others that might hinder you or limit you, because they're not here to help you, even if the apple looks shiny. Okay? Now, the next outside influence. Wow, shit. Okay, we've got the moon. I love it. We've got Horus here with the moon. Big time intuitive energy coming in at us, guys. All right, I'm just going to say this. With the moon and we have this balance, this foundation of the magician and this Two of Pentacles up here. It really feels like there's this opportunity for us to maybe, how do I want to say this, tap into our who we truly are and what we want to know, like what we truly know about ourselves. Like we're gonna figure that out in the month of February. We've already figured it out a little bit in this magician, right? We've sort of been leading up to it, or like aspects of self, our strengths, our abilities have been revealed to us leading up to this point. Maybe we're shedding things that are no longer working for us and like really focusing on working towards what does work for us. To me, the outside influence of the moon says to me that there is an intuitive energy that will be coming in that will allow us to sort of tap in and stay focused. We will get challenged with this devil card, but these are heavy energies. These are both major arcana on either side of you, but your foundation is also major arcana. So I think that you have a strong foundation working through the month of February. Stay strong in that. Stay light like a feather, and keep a clear vision of what you want. Work towards it steadily. Allow the moon in. Allow the moon and intuition to guide you and bring you closer to what it is you desire or want. For some of you, this could also represent the opportunity to see darker sides of yourself, or maybe a little bit of shadow work here and there. There might be situations. I think both of these cards really represent that in a way. Like when I was saying that this devil card could be sort of limiting beliefs that we carry about ourselves, this moon card is going to also force us to sort of look at a little bit of maybe the darker side or the more deeper side of our subconscious and where it limits us. But honestly, this is all an opportunity so that we can release stuff and get about creating the reality that we want. And to do that, we have to sort of clear out some of the residual sort of gunk that we might keep in our belief system or in our mind. Okay, so this is a really good month to keep that as a focus, and know that if you do get challenged in any way, like with this devil card, or even challenged more internally at a subconscious level by maybe old beliefs that you're still working from that you need to shed, that's okay. Allow yourself to shed, similar to how a snake sheds its skin. Allow yourself to shed and redefine yourself in the month of February, my Geminis. Now, this last card is the overall, well, to me, it's what I call the potential outcomes card. This card sort of gives me a little insight into where things are going to naturally head, barring that nothing major changes. If this card is a negative card, we can utilize this card as a warning to make choices and changes through free will to avoid this outcome, right? So it's not set in stone by any means. But the beauty is that if this is a wonderful card and we want it to come to pass, and it's, it shows up as a wonderful card, we can take heart in the fact that we're sort of naturally heading towards this outcome without having to do much to change it, okay? So, nice. So this is the Page of Swords. So this as a outcome card to me says that there is some definite mind working going on, and by the end of the month, there's a definite sort of learning about how our mind works and an understanding about sort of where our thoughts best serve us and maybe where they don't. The Page of Swords is always about, pages to me are always about learning. There's always a youthfulness to them. There's always this opportunity to sort of expand and grow from a page card, right? There is a little bit of authority to a page card because it is part of the court. So we have learned some lessons along the way, but this is all about really getting clear mentally by month's end about what it is we want and really learning how to stay strong in that, even amidst sort of these situations that might challenge us. And these situations, like with this being a moon card and the devil card, these situations are going to be fairly obvious in the month of February. They're not going to like, be subtle. Well, the moon might be a little bit subtle because it is sort of a subtle energy, but it's going to have an impact. You're going to be aware that you're dealing with it, or you'll be aware that it's challenging you on some level. But if you stay with this singularity of purpose, this strong work ethic, this strong focus on keeping your goal and your eye on the prize, so to speak, it's going to bring you to this place of this Page of Swords where you are starting to learn the strength of your own mind, the strength of your own thoughts, and sort of exercising that muscle in a way that allows you to kind of continue to grow towards your goal. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you guys. That is your February forecast. If you're interested in getting a further forecast that's individually tailored to you, I can certainly do that for you. Once this video is uploaded on YouTube, all the information will be placed in the description box. Or you can message me at the Facebook business page and I can answer any questions you may have there. Please give this video a like, a share, a comment, a subscribe. Help me get this out there, you guys. I appreciate any and all views, subscriptions, questions, all of that. So feel free and have a great month in February, okay? It will be, I think it's going to be, to me, this feels like we're definitely setting the tone for the rest of the year through the month, with this month of February. Where it's like what we're going to put up with and what we're not. And we don't have to put up with much with that Magician card as our foundation. All right, so enjoy your February, and I will speak to you all soon. Thank you so very much, Geminis. I'm going to move on to the Libras. All right, thank you. Okay, Libra, I've got to shuffle the cards, so thank you for waiting and being patient. Again, I'm just going to state what I stated at the beginning of Gemini. This card, this reading is for all Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, or if you have heavily placed planets in the sign of Libra, you may want to watch this. What was I going to say? Ways that you can support the channel is follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. Please give this video a like, a share, a subscribe. Leave a comment if you like. If you have any questions, you can also comment on the video once it's fully uploaded. And again, if anybody's watching on Facebook and trying to comment, I don't have a chat box up. I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see you. I'm trying to concentrate on this. So what is in store for my Libras for February of 2020? For Sun, Moon, Rising, or anybody with heavy planetary placement in the sign of Libra. Okay, let's see what we got going on for my Libras. All right. Whoops, let me move this over. Pardon me. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so this is your center card. This is where you're kind of going to be centered for most of the month. It's not the entire month, but it just gives me a little idea of not only where you're sort of operating from, but also kind of what you could be potentially creating, okay? So let's look at this card. This is Strength. Beautiful card. This is the first time I've seen this card, actually. So this is it looks like a bear to me, which generally the Strength card is usually represented by a lion. I like that this deck uses the bear. When I look at this as a center, to me, I feel like there is, when I was doing the shuffle for Libra, I felt like I kind of did this, because it felt like there was a little bit of a struggle going on in the month of February. This Strength card to me says that there might be actually a struggle for a lot of you in the month of February. But it being the Strength card and it being a major arcana card says to me that you will be able to deal with whatever is sort of being thrown at you. You might have to shore up. I feel like there's a little bit of defense in this card as far as the strength, this card is concerned. It feels like my Libras might feel a little bit on the defensive throughout the month of February, or a little bit on the, on the looking outward going, okay, like who's coming at me, what's coming at me sideways, kind of on alert, if that makes sense. I do like the strength and the calmness of the blue in this card. It makes me think that you guys will be able to manage February in a successful way, but it might be a little bit more work, or a little bit, like I'm getting this sort of feeling of feeling a little bit exasperated by month's end. Yes, we're able to hold up our strength and stay strong and certain in that. That's the energy of this bear. But it also feels like this is going to be a month where we are sort of almost teaching ourselves or learning some significant lessons. This being a major arcana card is our center, and it also being the strength card says to me that whatever it is we're dealing with in the month of February, it might bring us about certainly an awareness of our own strength, but also some tiredness, or I'm getting this sense of maybe fatigue by month's end because we've been strong throughout the month off and on. Does that make sense? Um, there's definitely like I think defense is the right word, not offense. It feels more defensive. Like I feel like this bear is sort of on the lookout for incoming predators in a way. So if there are situations that feel like they're outside of our control that we're dealing with, where we feel like we need to be sort of strong or on alert for during the month of February, don't worry. Only because I feel like this card is saying that that's exactly where you're supposed to be. And from the strength card, there's always this benefit of having learned about our strength, right? So we might go out of the month a little bit more tired than we came in, but we're also going to go out sort of understanding what we're capable of at a deeper level, all right? So let me put that back and let's look at the foundation card. This second card is sort of why things are the way they are, what was going on in the recent past that has led us into the cards being the way that they are for this month. So this is Temperance. Wow, there's a lot of major arcanas happening for my air signs so far. Um, so Temperance is always about sort of balance. I love that this is depicted with a butterfly. There's usually an angel in most traditional tarots, but this is all about keeping sort of the balance and keeping everything sort of at an even keel, manageable, peaceful, keeping things sort of centered. And I like that this is your foundation, which says to me you're going to enter into the month feeling probably how do I want to say, like at peace in a way. But this strength card says to me that you might be feeling the need to have to defend that peace. We'll look at the outside influences. When we get to these two cards, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some wonky energy coming at us in the month of February. That's kind of where I'm feeling this is going, because when I look at this Temperance card, it says to me that in the months leading up to this, it's been all about keeping the balance, keeping the peace, and maintaining it. This Strength card feels to me that this is what we're trying to maintain or keep for ourselves. And we might have to be a little bit more forceful in our boundaries, a little bit more forceful in our making our needs known, or our getting our what is it, like our goals met in the month of February with this energy of strength. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. There's a delicateness to this Temperance card, especially with this butterfly here. There's like a transformation that's maybe taken place for some of us, where we've gotten to a place where we feel that we actually have something of value or of worth. And I feel like in February that might feel like that we need to protect it with this Strength card. Now let's look at this is the Spirit or Soul card. So this is tells me a little bit about where your spirit or soul is at, what it's focused on. This is the Four of Cups. I love this card. This to me, it kind of always represents the mind, the body, and the spirit pouring into the emotional body, right? And connecting at like equal levels and sort of bringing that into alignment. There is an alignment that sort of takes place in this card, especially with it sitting up in this position, being your spirit or soul space. This is the Four of Cups, cups being the element of water or your emotions. So to me, I would say pay special attention to your emotional well-being during the month of February. I feel like this card feels like your emotions could be good. There will be times where you might feel exasperated or tired from being in this sort of defensive stance or on the lookout throughout the month of February at different times. You're not always going to be on alert, but throughout the month of February, you might find yourself having to be a little bit more, what's the word, like assertive, or more so assertive than you've been in the recent past, right? This Temperance is much more like peaceful and calm. This Strength card is like, no, I got to go out there and get it. So when I'm looking at this as your soul or spirit space, be mindful of your emotions throughout the month of February. Remember to give back to yourself. That's these sort of cups pouring in here. Give back to yourself. Take care of yourself. This is definitely like sort of a self-care card to me. This is about stability and keeping sort of yourself emotionally stable throughout the month of February. That's going to be a focus for your spirit. And your spirit will be working in the background doing that. Acknowledge that and try, and as much as you can, try and bring some of that in with this strength card throughout the month. It's going to make that, I'm hearing right now that it's going to make whatever my Libras are dealing with, whatever the situation may be, it's going to make the transition that much easier, and it's going to help you to keep this sort of calm, peaceful temperance vibe, which you've had up until this point, and you are sort of wanting to keep, if you can. And so I don't know that you will be totally able to keep this, but this energy helps to balance it or keep you closer to it than you would if you just sort of denied this altogether and didn't pay attention and just went like running through the month of February like a total freak. Don't do that. Okay, now the next two cards are what I call the outside influences. These cards represent as people, sometimes events. They can also be things more vague, like energies or belief systems that are having an effect on us during the month of February that we want to be aware of. They can be helping us or hindering us. So let's see what they are. One is the Eight of Cups. Back to that emotional energy. Interesting. Why do I feel like this is situations that are going to trigger us? I feel like... Oh, our family's in the picture. Somebody's family. I'm not sure, but I feel like this is definitely family related. I'm just getting this, like, all of these cups, even though there's 8 of them and this one is falling over, it just sort of feels like, you know, family maybe pulling the rug out from under us. Or from very familiar people, very familiar situations. This could be people we're close to at work, or people that like maybe our significant other. But for a lot of you, this is going to be family stuff coming up in February. And I think that this is why the strength card is there. Because if you look here, if we move this, I know he's looking right at those fucking cups. I know it. He's looking straight at these cups going like, ooh, not today, right? And so we might feel a little bit defensive because those that we love or those that we trust or those that are around us quite frequently, this could be coworkers, things like that, might be kind of trying to excuse the expression, but spill the tea, or rock our boat a little bit, challenge us in a way emotionally that is going to sort of, I don't know, like remove some of this peace that we've been seeking. I love that we have these 2 cups here pouring the liquid back and forth evenly and calmly. Like, I feel like emotionally maybe we've gotten some sort of mastery in the last, you know, in the recent past where we finally feel stable and okay and we want to maintain that, but like the outside world is going to maybe want to come in and sort of challenge us, pull our attention in a way that might trigger us emotionally. I love that we have this temperance as our balance, we have this strength as our center, and we have this 4 of Cups as our stable sort of soul card, right? So even whatever is sort of being maybe thrown at us, or whatever we're being maybe forced to look at due to, you know, proximity, it being family or friends, that sort of thing, we don't necessarily have to bite on, or we don't have to sort of get involved in. Does that make sense? So just keep that in mind. The other outside influence that we have on this other side here is the 8 of Pentacles. Whoa, you have 2 8s on either side. Interesting. That's some weird magic going on there. You have like double infinities on either side of you coming at you. Very interesting. What is that about? 88. Wow. This to me feels like the opportunity for my Libras for actual monetary abundance in a way. I love this golden ribbon going up through here. This feels like inspiration. This feels sort of like energy. This feels like opportunities for maybe monetary wealth, maybe like an improvement in our home life, or in our financial sector is what I'm feeling. This to me feels more like relationships. I include pentacles as relationships, romantic, familial, friendships, that sort of thing, and the building and growth of that. But I'm not feeling that. With this card, I'm really feeling that this is actual like opportunities that are financially related or home related. These are about goods to me. This feels like this is about sort of the opportunity to sort of move ahead financially. This is about the opportunity to sort of get sidetracked emotionally amongst our relationships. Does that make sense? I don't think that the 8 of Cups is always necessarily a bad card, but to me, this feels like our relationships are, how do I want to put this? The distinct feeling I'm getting from looking at these cards for my Libras is that our relationships, romantic, familial, friendship, whatever, work-wise, they're wrapped up in this card this month. this is really our finance, this is our home, this is our material wealth, and I feel like this actually feels very beneficial. So whether things might be feeling like they're falling apart, not falling apart, I don't want to give you guys that idea, but things might be challenging is a good word, uh, in our social sector, in our earnings sector, career, that sort of thing. There could be very new opportunities. There could be opportunities for growth where they maybe weren't as visible leading up to February, but they will make themselves present. And that's definitely the word I'm hearing on this card. That's the brightness of this golden ribbon. That's like it's sort of, it feels like it's trying to draw our attention. Then, and as I'm saying that, I'm totally supposed to slide this card over, is what I'm hearing, and saying, okay, Libras, whoops, we learned about temperance, right? We learned about balance and focus and sort of allowing ourselves to see our beauty. And we got to that point, and now it sort of feels like the challenge in the month of February is, what are we going to give our focus to? Are we going to give it to the areas that are going wrong, or are we going to give it to the areas that are going right? To me, our natural instinct is to want to fix what's wrong, but I think that this temperance card and this Four of Cups card says to me, maybe we just sort of let this stuff go on. Don't bite into it. Don't. It's almost like sort of let it be and let it fix itself, and turn yourself towards these things. Because when I look at this Eight of Pentacles, even though they're both eights, they're sort of presenting themselves to you in the month of February in totally different ways. This to me feels open and exciting, but like the Strength card says to me that we're going to probably head towards where the drama is, or where the things are broken, or we feel that they need to be fixed in an attempt to fix them, when in actuality we should probably turn ourselves into the opposite direction and go after the things we can achieve and feel good about those things. That's just the gist of what I'm getting from these cards. So it's really going to be up to each Libra's, discernment as to what they choose to focus on in the month of February. But to me, you're going to learn something from this too, right? Because this Eight of Cups definitely ties into this Four of Cups, right? Which is what your soul is working on, which is emotional stability. We might have to go through a couple of emotional storms with some of our friends or loved ones through the month of February to get to this stability that we want. But keep in mind, self-care and taking care of yourself during this time and staying strong is really going to be key. With this focus on maintaining that balance that we've recently, hopefully come into experience with, okay? Now, this last card is what I call the potential outcomes card. This card is not necessarily set in stone. It is just a potential outcomes for my Libras, barring that nothing major changes, right? So the great part is if this is a good card, we can just sort of take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards this. But if this is a negative card, we have free choice and free will. We can use this card to sort of use it as a warning right now to make choices and changes in our lives to avoid this outcome, and this outcome does not have to come to pass. So there is no doom or gloom here. This is just an opportunity to kind of get a little insight into where things look like they're naturally heading at this time for the majority of you. Wow, okay, this is the Nine of Pentacles. So I don't know what I want to say. This is a good card. What I feel like this is me just talking about, are we going to focus on this or are we going to focus on this? I almost feel like it's shifted you all and you're all like, I'm going to focus on this, and this is what's going to come about. Is this really this abundance and this like sort of completion, this bringing about of actual material wealth? Like, you guys, I don't know what sort of improvements you may be making in your home life or in your work life, if you're going to be seeking or looking or applying for raises or new positions and new jobs. But to me, I really feel like this is the balance of that and the accumulation of that, the abundance of that. I love that this ribbon is sort of twisting here. So to me, I feel like this is kind of like, okay, throughout the month of February, there's these opportunities that are calling us through this golden ribbon, right? By the end of February, we've really sort of, hopefully, if we focused on these opportunities and not given too much attention to, sort of what's wonky in February, if we go after what's good and what's presenting itself as the open, feel-good, expansion kind of stuff, like where can we make our lives better, we really bring in that energy and we make it sort of more solidified. I love that it kind of tones down, and we get this darker color in the ribbon, meaning like it's become more ours. We've grounded it into our space and we've brought this abundance towards us, this sort of financial abundance, this sort of wealth, So it feels like there's a real opportunity here for you guys to bring in something that you might, um, to me, I'm almost not sure. How do I want to say this? Like, this might be unexpected in a way. Like, maybe you weren't actually expecting this or kind of consciously creating this in a way, whatever this wealth is. It feels like to me we were just looking sort of for like this beautiful balance amongst ourselves, and emotional balance and calm. And as we brought that energy about in the recent past, it sort of opened the door for us to sort of bring about this this shift in our material sector. Does that make sense, guys? I hope that makes sense for my Libras. This really does feel like an opportune month to bring in some much needed sort of financial abundance and emotional stability, but we have to stay strong and keep mindful of keeping that balance that we want so bad and not giving in to sort of the chaos that maybe this Eight of Cups might. It's not chaos per se, but it just feels like other people's needs kind of pulling us in a direction that we don't really want to go. So being mindful of that and going after the things that pull us in the direction that our opportunities. As we do that, we end up at this Nine of Pentacles, which is really abundant and enjoying those opportunities. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate everybody who watches. Please leave a comment, a like, a share, a subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. And please tune in next month. Let your friends know about me. Help get the word out. If this resonated or you want more clarity, I do personal readings. You can look in the video description box once the video is uploaded. And you can contact me at the Facebook business page. I can answer any questions you may have about that. And I am now going to move on to the sign of Aquarius. Thank you, Libras. Have a great February. And again, thank you for tuning in. Okay, so my Aquarius. Thank you, all my Aquarians. Spirits. Okay, I see. What does February 2020 have in store for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising? Planetary placement. What do they need to know? I'm just going to start off with, there is no chat box up. If any of my Aquarians are trying to say hello via Facebook right now, I have the chat box off. I am not ignoring you. I'm going to repeat it one more time. If you want to support the channel, please give me a like, a share, a subscribe. If you're over on YouTube, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I go live. Follow me at Engelgeist333. And please like my business page if you're watching from Facebook. So let's see what's going on for my Aquarians in February, which is the tail end of your guys' birth month. So happy birthday to those Aquarians that may be watching this in February. And actually, it's late January, so happy birthday to you guys. I think it's the beginning of Aquarian season now, isn't it? So happy birthday to all my Aquarius. That's why I'm leading with the air signs this month. So let's see what's going on for my beautiful Aquarians. I'm so crushed out on Harry Styles, who's an Aquarian, and my moon is in Aquarius, so my intuitive, more emotional side is in the sign of Aquarius. So I'm always interested to see what Aquarius has to say. Okay. That felt very definitive, that cut. Alright, so that is your center, foundation, soul, two influences, outside influences. Alright, so the center card is your U card. It's kind of like where the majority of my Aquarians are going to be centered or operating from in the month of February. You'll be going in and out of this energy, but it kind of gives me insight not only into where your focus is at, but also what you could potentially be creating for the month of February. So this, oh my god, this is the Seven of Pentacles. This is the same card that came up in the very first card for Gemini, in the same position. So my Aquarians, get together with the Geminis this month. There might be some great brainstorming. We're definitely working some, how do I want to say, some real creative, kind of steady workflow energy that is going to pay off in the future, right? This is about, Seven of Pentacles is about like hard work now and kind of detail-oriented stuff, but it brings about sort of this fruition. And then with this card specifically, I love the art in this card because the first time I saw this card was last night in the How I Can Help You Hour. And to me, I love this shovel, right? It says that there's hard work to be done, but we know that if we keep steady and calm and grounded and centered, like we set the path for this growth to sort of take place, this healing and this growth to kind of grow up around the hard work that we put in. And then the bloom of the sort of pentacles comes forward. The fruits of our labor really do come forward. So my Aquarians, like it feels like you guys are going to be in touch with the awareness of that also, similar to the Geminis. I really like that. To me, this is about creating ourselves and putting ourselves where we want to be and really being methodical about our approach to that and how we get there. That's going to be our center for the month of February. So keep that in mind and keep sort of revisiting this idea or this thought. Keep coming back and revisiting this video and reminding yourself that every like sort of focus and bit of work that we put in now really leads us towards the growth and the opportunity that I see in this card, the sort of the flowering and the fruition that comes to this card. It's kind of like a harvest, you know, we plant the seeds and we do the work and we keep our focus, we keep an optimism and we wait, you know, I don't know if patiently is right, but like if we're patient and measured about it and centered and grounded with it, it will bear fruit. It might be in the months to come, but what we're doing now is sort of setting the tone for the future. So that is your center card, and that's the exact same center that my Geminis had. So if you have any close Geminis, my Aquarian viewers that you're around, get with them and kind of, I don't know if commiserate is the right word, but collaborate with them maybe in the month of February. Throw around ideas or talk about what you're working on, because I feel like the energy is similar between you two, the focus is similar between you two, the drive is similar between you two, and that is going to sort of help to also exemplify and strengthen what we see in this card for both you and the Geminis. Now this is the foundation card. This is sort of the recent past or what everything is built upon. This also represents sort of the memory or what kind of holds things in place. This is an experience or something that we've gone through. Now, this is the Queen of Swords. I love that this is an air sign, right? It's swords dealing with the element of air and the intellect. The Queen of Swords is all about quick thinking, clear thought, decisive decision making, that sort of thing. So my Aquarians here, as I'm looking at this, it feels like we have been in a place of authority leading up to February. We've been in a place where we've been maybe silently watching, kind of taking notes and sort of really determining and discerning what we need to do next and how we need to go about it. And as we do that, the strength of this energy that is in this card, the decisiveness and the authority that is here is allowing us to understand that the work that we put in the month of February, exactly sort of how important it is and how kind of crucial it is that we keep that sort of centered mindset so that we can create the opportunities that we want materially. We have this beautiful basis that is in our home element of air and the intellect, where our mind is strong, right, in the month of February. Or, well, not in the month of February. Our mind has been strong leading up to this. Our goals have been clear. We haven't necessarily, what's the word? Like, we haven't necessarily put ourselves into too much drama, right? We've maybe held back or bit our tongue leading up to this coming February, and in doing so we've learned a lot, and I think that what we've learned has empowered us and is the foundation for what is going to set us up to be creatively productive and successful in the month of February. Okay, now the next card is your spirit or soul card. This tells me what your spirit or soul is working on or what it wants you to focus on. We have the Four of Pentacles. Weird, because Gemini had the Two of Pentacles up here in the spirit soul space. What did they have in the first? What was their... They had significant outside influences too. What was their... I can't remember their foundation card. Shit. Anyways, again, similar to Gemini's energy, get with your Geminis, or if there's any Aquarians with Gemini placements like out there, like double heirs out there that might be watching this, be mindful of this month of February, because there's all of this pentacle energy happening between Gemini's reading and Aquarians. with the Seven of Pentacles in the center, and then we have the 2 up here for Gemini, and now we have the 4 up here for the Aquarians. 4s are always about stability. This is about bringing in financial stability, bringing in monetary stability, bringing in relationship stability, bringing in stability around the home. I do feel like this is going to happen, and this is a focus for us. There's something that we desire very deeply at this spiritual level, right? And our spirit wants us to learn how to master this and bring this in. We are certainly channeling the opportunity to do that with this 7 of Pentacles as our U card, and with the strength of our intellect of this Queen of Wands as our driving force or the foundation behind us, and this being our home element of air, we really have the opportunity to kind of energize and bring about this stability that we're seeking in our material realm, right? So wherever we want stability, like say it's in a relationship, or it's, you know, we want, I don't know, a better home life or a more stable job or somewhere where we feel valued. This says to me that like our spirit is working on finding that for us and helping us bring that into balance and energizing that for us. We need to stay mentally strong and bring that strength in from previous experiences and put in every ounce of work. Talk to our Geminis. This is weird. I've not ever had 2 Tarotscopes kind of speak to me in this way where it's like, oh, get with this sign. But I feel like Geminis and Aquarians in the month of February should come together and even just like kick around ideas, inspire each other, because you're both kind of on this similar trajectory of wanting to create this sort of long-term material abundance, and I feel like it's very, very possible for you guys. All right, so let's see what the outside influences are. These 2 cards on either side are what I call the outside influences. These can be things that are like people or events. They can also be things more vague, like belief systems or energies that are around us that are sort of affecting us either positively or negatively. So we just want to be aware of these. Interesting. This was, I believe this was the outcome for the Geminis. Okay, so this Page of Swords says to me that this is experiences or opportunity. I would say, how do I want to say this? This is situations or predicaments, events that might present us with opportunities where it is going to challenge us. But I love that we have this Queen of Swords down here. She is stronger and more aware. This says to me that there might be situations that come up in the month of February that are going to challenge our awareness and our stability, our mental, like what we know to be true. Now, what I think about this page is don't stay stuck. This queen, to me, her sword is withdrawn, right? It's pulled back. She's not necessarily being super decisive or cutting things completely out of the picture. We've led up to this month of February with this sort of mindset of being like more of a passive watcher and kind of taking notes and figuring out situations and then acting accordingly. This says that to me that there's going to be situations that are coming that are still going to continue to teach us, right? They're going to continue to teach us about our mental strength and about sort of not only maintaining this, but building upon this, making this even stronger. So this says that we might feel challenged mentally by some situations outside of ourselves. Don't worry, these things are there to teach us. If we feel sort of challenged or we feel like these situations are drawing us away from what our focus is, stay strong in this focus. This doesn't feel as serious as Gemini's outside influence or their first outside influence, but to me this is definitely about us maybe being challenged by situations that we've not experienced before, hence the page energy here. But it's all in an effort to kind of grow us and also strengthen this foundation that is already in existence, that we've already kind of gone through. Okay, this next card, and I like again that we have this air happening here, more air energy around us. Like this, even though this is a page card, which says to me that there's this opportunity for learning, it also says to me that it is in our element. So this learning is something that we need. It's something that's going to help us grow. It's going to be something that's going to set us up. So these situations that might seem maybe a little bit challenging or annoying at first, allow them to be and allow yourself to sort of take your way through them and learn from them, because they are going to serve you in the long run. On the opposite side, this is a beautiful card. This is the Ten of Cups. This is all about emotional abundance and overflow, right? This is all about sort of everything kind of coming forward, feeling good, feeling right on the money. So And this is about, you know, exactly that feeling, right? But there is a balance to all of this overflow. So I feel like there, although there might be situations that might challenge you mentally, or maybe produce in you sort of a, I don't feel like this is self doubt as much as this is about learning about a new set of skills for ourselves, right? My Aquarians, do you understand where I'm going with this? This is about sort of, we've gotten ourselves to this point and we feel sort of like we've plateaued. Oh, wait, there's still more to learn. We're going back from Mama Puma to Baby Puma. And that's okay because it's still like strengthening our Puma-ness. Does that mean? Happy birthday, Aquarians! You all tuned in, so you're gonna get great words like Puminus from I am Taropa or Taropra. You all get a card. Everybody gets a card. So yes, so just be aware that this air element speaks to me in the sense that whatever opportunities that may seem challenging or unknown to you, or you may not have the complete full answers for that you might have had in the past, don't worry, embrace them and move forward in them with some enthusiasm and the ability and the willingness to learn. The other thing here is this sort of emotional abundance that's happening on the other side. These opportunities that will bring about emotional abundance for us will also sort of help us to kind of move through these mental situations with a little bit more ease. I feel like both of these are really good cards. This one might be a little bit challenging, but it's always in an effort to sort of make us a more well-rounded and capable air sign. Like it's giving us more mastery over our own element, over our own intellect, over our own like sort of mind and how it works, right? Over here, this is just to me, it feels like it's about balance and feeling good in the month of February, really enjoying that. And I think that all of these cards feel very balanced and strong to me. Everything that we're aware of or that we're putting in the month of February is really sort of paying off in some way for us, I feel like. And it's good to see that because this is your guys' birth second half of your birth month, right? So it is really your element and your time, and I feel like that's what I'm seeing with these cards, especially with these two air signs here and then these two earth. It feels like we're really kind of working towards manifesting what it is we want and also learning how to deepen and strengthen our own elemental prowess, right? This last card now is what I call the potential outcomes card. This card tells me sort of where things are going to end up for the majority of my Aquarians, barring that nothing major changes, right? So it's not set in stone. If this is a negative card, we do have free will and free choice. We can affect outcomes, right? We can use this card as a warning right now to sort of steer ourselves away from this outcome if we choose to. If this is something that's beneficial, the great part is we can kind of take heart in the fact that we're sort of naturally flowing towards this. And unless we make any major decisions to go off path, then or make major changes, then this will naturally sort of flow towards us. So this is the Three of Wands. I like this card. I think this is a very peaceful card. Um, to me, the Wands deals with the element of fire and the spirit, and the Three feels like us kind of. It's almost like this blending of the mind, the body, and the spirit is what I'm getting from this card. I feel like there's this calmness that comes with this card, and I love that we have sort of like I don't know, the mind, the body, and then the spirit, and then this beautiful blue ribbon sort of wrapping in certainty around it, right? This sort of continuity of being certain of sort of who we are and what we need and how we sort of want it, right? In our own sort of spiritual growth. And I think that part of the reason why I'm talking about this in this way is because of this Ten of Cups here, this sort of emotional abundance, the opportunities for us to sort of embrace those things throughout the month of February and really feel them. And also the openness that we see in this page. If any sort of mentally challenging situations come about, don't fear them. Be open to them and learn from them. Move through them with like this sort of openness to being willing to learn and to sort of grow. And as you do that, I think that's what opens the door for this kind of this beautiful balance that we see in this wands card of these three wands kind of coming together and really feeling centered. I love that this card feels also very the blue with the blue of the Queen of Wands eyes and stuff. They feel very similar in sort of hue. So to me, it feels like not only here we have like this mastery of the mental aspect, this being the Queen of Swords, but to me, it's like we take what we've learned here, we take what we're continuing to learn in the month of February here, and we take the emotional abundance here, and we kind of pool them all together by month's end, and we have this really beautiful um, uh, understanding of our own growth at how do I want to put this, at the level of mind, body, and spirit, and we're very certain about that. There's a calmness about that. There's almost like I kind of feel like this is a new door opening for us, right? It's a deepening of our connection to ourselves and to our spirit, and a better understanding of who we are. So not only emotionally but also mentally, that we are able to sort of appreciate those aspects of self equally, see the strength in them, the beauty in them, the frailty in them, and the growth in them, and kind of honoring that with a level of certainty and continuity that really is nice, right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you guys. It's really a beautiful reading. If anybody, have happy birthdays, you guys. And if anybody's interested in a personal private reading, you certainly can contact me via the Facebook business page or in the description video once the video is fully uploaded to YouTube. You can look in the description there, and the Engelgeist links are there to find me, and you can contact me, ask any questions about private readings. I am available. Please, again, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the video, of the forecast, if it makes sense to you, if it resonates. I appreciate each and every comment, and I look forward to seeing you guys again in March. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a beautiful February, and I am going to sign off now. Taropra is over and out. All right, love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.